yesterday, I was doing what every developer does, fixing a tiny UI detail that absolutely nobody will notice, but will keep me awake at 2 a.m. if I ignore it.
It all started with this little guy. He looked so lifeless, so I gave a good juice to him.
I began by wiping out all the default settings on him. And since we needed some 3D depth for him, I added 2 layers, the top and the bottom.
I set the top layer's width and height to completely fill the parent. Then I gave it some styling, centered the text, and added a few details with an outline and border radius.
I copied most of the styling for the bottom layer from the top layer. I only changed the background. Since it's supposed to add depth, this layer sits right below the top layer.
To do that, I set its position to absolute at top 10 pixels, but this is how the button looks. Of course, the bottom layer decided to position itself relative to the entire body. To stop that chaos, I just made the button position relative. Now, he's looking better. Then came the tiny detailing lines. These live on the bottom layer, so I just used its pseudo elements, gave them no content, sized them like little bars, tossed in a background, and absolutely positioned one on the left and one on the right.
The button also needs a base layer, so I use the button's own pseudo element for that. It follows the same styling as the bottom layer, just push down a few extra pixels. Since the base is supposed to wrap around the entire button, I made it slightly wider and nudged it to the left to keep the whole thing perfectly centered. And since it is the base, I dropped its z-index to -1, keeping it sitting right at the very bottom.
The click effect is surprisingly simple. When the button is pressed, the top layer drops by 10 pixels and fills the gap, giving that satisfying pressed-in look. So on active, I move the top layer with a simple translate Y by 10 pixels. And for a smooth effect, I added a transition for the top layer.
For a final touch, I added a little shine effect on click. Since the shine sits on top, I created it using a pseudo element on the top layer. It's basically just a skewed rectangle placed outside the button. When the button is clicked, I slide this rectangle across the top layer to create that shiny sweep. And of course, the top layer needs overflow hidden, so the shine stays hidden until it moves in. And that's how I made him happy.